Hello, and welcome to the Advanced Multiscene plugin tutorial. I'm going to be demoing Advanced Multiscene using our upcoming game Elementalist X. We use Multiscene extensively in this project, so it's a good candidate to show how the plugin works. Elementalist X is a virtual reality game where you warp from tower to tower in order to fend off enemies. I'm going to start playing it now just to show you what it's like. So here's different towers I can warp to. And once I get close enough to enemies, I can start attacking them. Now that you see how it works, let's jump into the tutorial portion. I'm going to start by showing you how to use Unity's multi-scene features to break up a scene into multiple subscenes. You want to do this in a few situations. One is if you're reusing a scene multiple times in your game, for instance, your user interface. In our case in Elementalist X, we reuse some scenes with different tower placements. So these tower placements here are going to be separated from the level geometry, which is basically everything else. In order to prevent duplicate data being stored in our build, we will break up a scene so that its static level geometry is different from the tower placement. Another reason to break up a level is to increase your collaboration speed. Even with Unity's smart merging features, you want to avoid working on the same scene as much as possible. So a good strategy is to break up a level per discipline. For instance, artificial intelligence, which we have over here, sounds down here, lighting, which basically all the lights on the level, and static geometry, which is basically all the geometry that doesn't move, kind of decorative geometry, for instance the terrain. Let's start by breaking up my scene into multiple subscenes. I'm going to cheat a bit here because, as I've showed you, I've already classified all these objects. So the AI lives under the AI, the player under the player, etc., etc. You'll see that these new subscenes will act kind of as my objects here. So let's start by creating a new subscene. And we're going to do that by going up to my scene folder. Under here, create scene, and I'm going to call this demo-player. I'm going to drag this scene into the hierarchy, and whenever you create a new scene, it's going to create a new camera and a new light, and I'm just going to get rid of those two so that it doesn't mess with any of the lights I've already set up or the cameras I've already set up. And now I'm going to drag everything under this demo-player, and I'm going to put it under here. Then I'm going to delete the demo-player object. I'm going to save. And I'm going to do this once more for the static geometry. So demo static, going to drag it in here. The lighting's changed, which I don't want. I am going to grab all the static geometry and drag it into that scene. Going to get rid of my placeholder object and save this scene. Now I'm going to save the main scene right now and just show you that this demo static file here, if I go into unlit mode, so there's no lights in this level, as you can see if I toggle this. So this was all of the static geometry that previously lived in my other level. This geometry no longer lives in that level. It now lives in this level. But when I click back here, it's going to automatically load. If I put the lighting back on, we're going to see it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same, just the geometry lives in another level. Now this is mostly the Unity functionality working here. I'm going to kind of speed through this tutorial. I'm going to break up all these different scenes, or all these different kind of sub categories into different scenes here, and you'll rejoin me once I've done that. So I'm just going to continue on here, just going create scene, demo AI, and so on, so on. So you'll meet up with me in a sec. Welcome back. So now that I've split up all of these different objects into their subscenes, I'm going to show you now that the game itself, first of all, runs just fine. I can now continue to warp over, I can see my enemies, I can still shoot them. So everything's pretty much the same. Now, most of this functionality is built-in Unity functionality. For instance, dragging those new scenes into the hierarchy window and moving objects over. So what exactly does the plugin do for you? Well, for one, whenever you reload a scene in Unity, for instance, if I go here and then just take a look around and then go back, typically it would not load in all these other scenes. So you would be left pretty much with an empty scene when you come back in here. So first of all, the plugin remembers what scenes you had open and reopens them. Now the second thing that it does is that it does this at runtime as well. Now I can see I have a bunch of errors here that says that these things are not in the build. This is part of the plugin. I can go into my build settings, add all my open scenes. Now you can see they're all set to additive. Now when I run my game, of course, we just saw this. The game runs perfectly fine. All those scenes are brought in and loaded at runtime. And that, again, is functionality that the plugin offers. The other thing that you can do is change how these levels load in. So you can either load them in asynchronously, or don't load them at all, or bake them in. Now what baking does is that it merges these scenes into one large scene at runtime. Now the advantage to this is, at build time. So typically what happens is your main level loads, your main level tells these sub-levels to load, and so you get a bit of, a longer load time. What baking does is it will, at build time, merge all these levels together. So if I were to pause this and click on something, you can see that these levels, or these geometry, now live in the demo main scene up here. So this is a way to sort of either increase or decrease your load times if you're trying to make sure that when your level loads in, it loads in as quick as possible, everything loads in together. Another thing this helps you do is ensure that the execution order of your scripts remains unchanged. So for instance, if you were to load in demo main and it of course loads demo player and then demo static and then demo gameplay, the order of your scripts is going to change based on what loads in first. If you were to bake in these scenes, which you can do with the plugin, then that makes sure that those scenes of course exist all at the same time and that they execute in the order that you've specified. Now, the last thing I want to say is that this game runs pretty much perfectly unchanged right now. Those enemies can go and walk on their path, but this is functionality that the plugin offers, because if I go over here and I go to the spawning function, you can see that this object path is actually referencing an object in another scene. Now, Unity by default does not allow you to do this. So what the plugin is doing is it's remembering that this object is a cross-scene reference, so it's referenced in another scene, and it's restoring that whenever you load the scene. If I were to disable this functionality, which you can through the multi-scene menu, so you can say Unity default, I can play my level, and you're going to see I have errors now. These guys aren't spawning in. Their path now, as you can see in the inspector over here, is set to none. So unfortunately, Unity doesn't allow that by default, and that's one of the very, very helpful things that this plugin does, is it allows you to do that and to save it. So once again, I'll just turn it back on, back to save, and if I run the game now, that variable will come back, which is very, very helpful to make sure that you can sort of develop a lot quicker and not have to worry about these cross-scene references, which basically break your game if you try to break it up into other scenes. So that is most of the functionality of Advanced Multi-Scene plugin. We're going to be, expanding it and doing some more useful things with it. But for now, that's the basic functionality. So, like this post, come visit the forums, ask questions, let us know what you think. Thanks very much, guys, and hope to see you online.